We've heard from Bills owner Ralph Wilson and also Randall McDaniel, a guard for 14 seasons in the NFL. Next up, Bob Hayes. And when you think about Bob Hayes, you think speed.
You think speed, the fastest human in the world and probably the fastest guy ever to play in the National Football League.
All right, let's send it back up to Rich Eisen for more.
Bullet Bob Hayes. Yes, it's been a long time coming. As an Olympic gold medal winner, Bob Hayes earned the moniker world's fastest human. But as his professional football career proved, and Dallas Cowboys longtime personnel man Gil Brandt once said, Bob was a football player who ran track, not a track guy who just happened to play football too. His son, Bob Hayes Jr., is proud of both of his father's accomplishments.
When I watch my dad on film, it's just mind-blowing because somebody that fast is not human. He got the name Bullet Bob because of his speed, and he was fast like a bullet. He was so fast, they didn't have an answer for him. He revolutionized the game of football because of his world-class speed as a sprinter. The title is right. He was the world's fastest human. In his last days, he used to talk about the Hall of Fame. It hurts because he shouldn't have been here to witness the special occasion, but unfortunately he didn't make it to see it. I know wherever he is, he's smiling down, he's happy, he knows what's going on, and he'll be with us in our spirits, in our hearts, and our minds. To us, he's always been a Hall of Famer. I knew one day it was gonna happen. He was always a big joker. So maybe he would say, it's about time, y'all. I've been waiting 30-something years.
Many great track names have sought football fame, but Bob Hayes is a football player who just happens to be the world's fastest living human.
As a kid growing up, I would get compliments every day about him. They always want to know, can he come to the school and speak? Or can we get his autograph? Or can we come to your house and meet him? Or can we get a picture? Or they had his jerseys, and it was just a fun atmosphere to be around. A lot of love and a lot of caring. He was a good person. He was a humble person. He had a big heart. We had a lot of joyful moments together. I love that man so much. He was always a special part of my life, still is today. I'm very happy right now because this was something he always dreamed about and always talked about and always wanted to be a part of, but he never got a chance to. So he always felt like he was an outcast, and I can tell in his eyes he had pain in his heart and his eyes when I look at him. I know for a fact that pain is gone because I tell my family all the time that even though he passed away before he got inducted in, he's been restless. He might be in that resting place, but he's not resting. He's restless because he knows that that last step is the Hall of Fame, being inducted in. He's going to get his wings and he's going to be resting in peace. We had left a space for him, so whenever he get inducted to the Hall of Fame 09, that's something we had made room for a while back because we knew one day that he was going to get in. On behalf of the Hayes family, I'm very honored to accept the induction of my father, Bob Hayes, into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, to present and enshrine Bob Hayes into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, please welcome Roger Staubach and Bob Hayes Jr.
On behalf of the Bob Hayes family, in fact, the family's here. The Bob Hayes family is all over here, and Bob Jr. and I are appointed. Could you stand up and yeah. They're all from Buffalo. Thought you might get a bigger applause, you know, but Bob was from Jacksonville. Of course, a lot of families coming up from Jacksonville and all over, and it's been fun for me to have the honor that was bestowed on me to just speak just a few words on behalf of Bob and his family, on behalf of the Dallas Cowboys, his teammates and friends. It's seems like yesterday, but I was a ensign in the Navy, and I played in a game. It was up in Chicago. It was called the College All-Star Game, and we had a pretty darn good team. We were playing the Cleveland Browns, and I was that was in 1965, and Bob and I were both drafted as futures in 1964, and I guess Gil Brandt had an idea that we could both play someday. I had a little bit of time left, and Bob was just he was a football player, but he was noted for his exploits on the track and also his gold medal. And so we were in the College All-Star Game together, and it's the first time I met him. And we had, as I mentioned, a good team. We had Gale Sayers on our team, and Dick Butkus, and Fred Biletnikoff, Jack Snow, Lance Rensel, and we really had a good team. And then we had these great receivers, and we had also Bob Hayes, who was he just had another speed. When you're out there throwing to him, at first I thought I was overthrowing him and ended up underthrowing him. So you really had to get rid of the ball quicker. You had to make sure you understood when Bob Hayes was running a route that you better get rid of the ball in a quick manner. And so he joins the Dallas Cowboys, and I had a chance to follow. It was really Don Meredith and Bob Hayes that lit up the NFL from 65 to 69, and I got to see part of it on TV. I got to see film that Gil Brandt used to send me when I was in Vietnam, and watching the film when I was in Da Nang with a lot of military guys. And so following Bob's career for those 4 years, it was phenomenal. He and Don Meredith really lit it up. And then Don retired in '69. I joined the Dallas Cowboys, and Craig Morton and I had a chance for 6 years to have some big games with Bob Hayes. We remember in '71, we were in Yankee Stadium, and Bob caught a pass at midfield, and it looked like he had a jet stream behind him and ran into the end zone. And against the Rams on Thanksgiving Day, we were behind 20. It was 21-14. We tied the game, and Bob caught a long touchdown pass. So he made big plays after big plays. His 71 touchdowns, it was every time he had a touchdown for every 5 catches. In 1970, he had over 26 yards on an average per reception. In his career, he made quality plays, he made big plays, and he was over 20 yards on per reception in the National Football League, which is right there, I think, maybe tied with Jerry Rice. So Bob made it happen on the football field, and when he joined the team, one thing, you know, Coach Landry was as good as it gets. He was a great human being, and you know, he was sometimes he could let you know how he felt. Other times he really, you know, tried to figure it out sometimes. But Bob, he loved Bob Hayes. And Bob joined the team in 1965, and I want to read this, the quote, because Coach Landry was asked, and I have to read it because Coach had this, his language was pretty good. He said, they were talking about drafting Bob, and what did you expect of him? And he just joined the team, but it was after the opening game. He said, heck no, we didn't know what we were getting. When we got Hayes, Landry said it, after the 65 opener, after Don Meredith hit Bob on about a 3-yard pass and he went 40 yards for a touchdown, coach said, well, we drafted him. He had 9.3 speed, having no idea about his football news. But gosh, he'll be a great one before he's done. And Coach Landry was right. And, you know, Larry Wilson, who had the chance to play against Bob, really, I think, summed it up and said, you know, that Bob really had football sense. Larry said he had speed. He had all different kinds of speed, and all the speeds were fast. But he had a football sense. And playing with him, you just knew that he could make plays, and he understood routes, and he had that speed, and it was phenomenal. And he also was loved by his teammates. He was kind of a cut-up guy. He liked to actually put nicknames on players, and Sweet Lips was Cornell Green, and Buzzy was Jethro Pugh, and he just had a name for everybody. And the thing about the locker room, Bob Hayes was always had a smile in the locker room. He really cared about his teammates, and as great an athlete and the deserving honor he has to be in the Hall of Fame, it's still, I think, one of the things you take with you in life is the people you work with, that Bob Hayes truly gave a darn about someone other than himself, and he was loved by his teammates. And I also want to mention, and you know, Willie Brown said it earlier today too. I was talking to him, and he said, we really kind of developed the bump and run even more because of Bob Hayes. You know, we had to hit him. We couldn't just let him get off the line of scrimmage. And in today's game, you know, you can't hit receivers down the field past 5 yards. And back then, you could just knock a receiver all over the place until the ball was in the air. So Bob really was lightning fast, so you had to double cover him. If a defensive back was played too far off of him, he could run a quick out route. And so you either had to zip a linebacker out, or you had to roll the cornerback and put the safety back. You had to do something, or you just had to hit him. You try to get a piece of him when he got past the line of scrimmage. So he was impactful, and you look at the league, and back then it was a lot of you ran more because the passing game was a little bit more difficult because the ability to hit receivers. But Bob really had an impact on the kind of coverage you use in the National Football League. And that's what the Hall of Fame is about, is having an impact. And a great player like Bob Hayes truly had an impact on the NFL. And he had a tremendous impact on the Dallas Cowboys. And Bob worked with me in the 80s. And Bob faced some challenges, and everyone was there to help him through the challenges. And because he was there when you needed Bob Hayes, he was almost generous to a fault. But Bob Hayes was really, really a decent, caring human being that had extraordinary skills. And old Speedo was one humble son of a gun. You know, he really didn't even try to. I don't know if he ever showed me his gold medals from the Olympics. He was a good guy, a great athlete. Faced some challenges, some a little bit more than most of us go through, but he fought them, and he fought them in a good way. And his family, they were always there for him, and he was always there for them. So it's a real privilege. It's a real privilege for me to say thank you, Canton. Thank you, NFL. Thank you, the National Football League Hall of Fame, for making sure that this great athlete that had an impact on the NFL is in the Hall of Fame. And I wish I saw him at the Ring of Honor in Dallas, and he was smiling. He's got a beautiful, wonderful smile, and I know he's smiling now, and I hope he's next near Coach Landry, because if he's there, I know he's in good shape. And he would just, I guess the only thing we miss as far as family, friends, is he's not here to show you this big smile. But we thank you for the opportunity to allow Bob Hayes to be in a great fraternity, one that I'm awfully proud of, and that's the National League Football Hall of Fame. Thank you very much.